So I'm in downtown Oslo today. This is pretty much the site where July 22nd, 2011, Anders Breivik exploded a bomb. He parked a van and bombed one of the government buildings, killing 8 people there. And then you probably all remember, then he drove up an hour and something's drive up to an island where there was a camp going on, where there were tons of kids there, and posed as a police officer and then killed 69 people on that island. It's a terrible situation, and I'm going to just show you kind of the area. There's also a museum right here that has actually artifacts of things, and so I'm going to show you some things. I'm not going to be too graphic about any of this stuff. Then I'm going to drive up and show you the island up there where Anders got on and completed his massacre. This is a temporary memorial. It's glass. It's broken bottles. So these are all the names and their age. That's right. It's all their names and their ages. Some very young, just teenagers. Many were just teenagers. I remember seeing this in pictures. So this display case still shows, it still has the newspapers in here from that day, from 2011. It's just normal news going on. They would always put the newspaper in here for the day. And this glass shattered during the explosion. And these newspapers sat in here for a couple years until sometime in 2013 they were going to get rid of this completely, and it was saved. So now it's part of the memorial where you can see what was going on. Typical political things and news and whatever before any attack. So this is what they want to create here. And then this actually gives you a little bit of some bearings here, because this is the VG, that's the newspaper company, where that shattered display case is right down in here. This is where the temporary memorial is, right in here. So they're going to change this entire area. So to give you even more information about where everything took place, you can see the circle in that building. That's the VG, the magazine company, and this is the temporary memorial here. Now this building, this is the original building right here. Now it's currently being rehabilitated, but this is it. But the area where Anders Breivik parked his car actually happened on the other side of the building. This is where he came in, made that left turn, and parked in that video. So you cannot get into this area. I think it's blocked off because they're doing all this construction and all this building going on. So I couldn't get into exactly where the bomb went off. However, for some reason on Google Earth, when I went down the street view, it actually shows what it looked like, and it actually says 14 years ago. So you can see in the video this ring that's across the street from where the bomb went off. That's in the security footage, and you can plainly see where he pulled up and parked the van and detonated it. Now this explosion, as bad as it was, it would have been way worse, but the force of the explosion actually went down into the ground or whatever was below that area where he had parked. I don't think there was a parking garage there, but so it would have been far worse. So this entire area is slated for a complete remodel, and apparently they've been working on it for quite some time. And I walked around the block, or all around the entire area. So this is kind of what it looks like now. Lots and lots of construction going on, lots of cranes. These are some renderings made by children. I believe it's their idea, their interpretation of what this new construction should look like. And it's always so interesting to see inside the mind of a child and see their take on things. Inside the museum now. I believe that this is also a temporary location until all the construction is completed. We're just a block or two down the road from where that bomb detonated. And they have laid everything out beautifully here. All of the different magazine and news covers. That day is really frozen in time with these articles, with these covers. They have a clip of the security video playing, which shows Breivik pull up, park the van, and walk off. He parked the van with the intention of destroying the government building that at the time housed the office for the Prime Minister. But fortunately, many of those government buildings were empty due to the customary common holiday tradition in Norway, or there would have probably been a lot more deaths. But as it was, the explosion resulted in 8 lives lost and dozens of people injured. And I didn't know that security was aware of the van being parked in a restricted spot, but it was really just a matter of minutes, 5 minutes or so, before the bomb detonated. So there really was no time for them to, it's not like they could have towed it out of there that quickly or anything. From there, Breivik drove about an hour up to where a summer camp organized by the youth wing of the Norwegian Labour Party was going on. And Breivik was disguised as a police officer. That's how he was able to get on the ferry and go to the island. And you can see the island ferry, the list showing the transport of policemen. And the museum has the fake badges here. So it was under the guise of law enforcement that he was able to get onto the island and murder 69 of the campers on there. So it is located in a very quiet and quaint area, and the island itself, it's extremely difficult to get onto. It's really for private events, and even though there is a ferry, there's no one to call or there's no one to contact. I think the people here don't want the island to be a spectacle with hordes of tourists coming around, which I totally get. And so the next best option for me was to fly my drone over it. So this is how it looks today.
Vi kunne liksom høre at folk både hoppet og datt ned fra berghyggene på begge sider. Vi hørte mennesker som traff vann og som traff stein. Og at folk falt utfor og noen landet vannet, men de fleste landet der rett på stein.
Og jeg tenkte på dem hele tiden hvor de om det går bra med dem, eller hva skal jeg gjøre hvis en av søstrene mine ikke overlever det her, hvordan skal jeg møte pappa da? En alternativ var jo ikke med dra hjem i det hele tatt. Og flere døde. Ned her så ligger det en jente her, som ikke ser ut til å ha blitt skutt noe sted i kroppen, men hjertet slår fortsatt. Og jeg tenker at hun kanskje bare er i sjokk. Så jeg går ned på huk og prøver å prate henne, men hun svarer ikke. Og så jeg løfter henne og prøver å riste litt på henne og prate med henne. Og så stopper plutselig hjertet henne, så hun puster ikke mer. Så jeg legger henne ned igjen og lukker igjen øynene på henne. Og ber en bønn for henne.
These are some cell phones that belong to the victims and survivors at the camp on the island. And I'm not sure if they were never claimed or how they ended up here. You can imagine the texts that would have gone out during the attacks, texts to police, and of course, texts to loved ones. So Breivik's island attack lasted over an hour. There were 564 people on the island when the attack started, and 69 of them were murdered. 33 sustained life-threatening injuries. It was largely a politically based attack, an attack on the Norwegian democracy, on elected politicians and politically engaged youth. And ironically, Breivik's rights were to be safeguarded within the framework of the very democracy he had so brutally attacked. He was tried and convicted on terrorism and murder charges and sentenced to the maximum under the Norwegian law, 21 years. He has been in solitary confinement ever since his 2012 conviction. Breivik's racist beliefs and militant ideology is nothing new. In fact, many of the survivors have received nasty messages and death threats in support of what Breivik did. He believed he was waging a cultural and ideological war against Norway's government. He was deeply opposed to what he saw as the Islamization of Europe and saw multiculturalism as a threat to Western culture and values. And he felt that these attacks were necessary to shed light on that. His extreme beliefs and actions serve as a stark reminder of the dangers of both far left and far right radical ideologies. And at the end, it was the innocent people who suffered. And you know, Anders Breivik might see himself as this great cultural warrior, but in reality, he's just a murderer of 77 innocent people. Back at the temporary memorial. So like I said, this is all going to be totally redone. So in time, if you come here, you'll see a whole area totally redone, a beautiful memorial. But this is, part of Norway's history now. A beautiful country, but unfortunately it does have its scars. Rest in peace to all of the people who perished in this horrible, horrible attack. See you in the next video.